Testing. Testing. I'm Greg. Woo. Hey everybody. Sorry, I just dropped my water bottle right when the mic came on there. Welcome back to the Cruddy Rink, where TC's playing St. Louis. They may or may not be more awake than they were this morning 12 hours ago, because this 12-hour game differential is a little silly, 12 plus hours. They had a nice pickleball party. Puck goes down. Hattie's going to get there. No, she's not. Thought maybe she'd beat the puck. She was close. So they had a nice pickleball afternoon, and then I think most everybody went back and rested a wee bit. I know there was some Fortnite being played in my room. What teenagers do to relax. Okay. Looks like we've got Haley with Livy, Kathleen, Rimini and Parker back on defense. Rim picks that up in the neutral zone, pushes it up to Kathleen. Kathleen sends it in deep. Now we've got a chase. Livy comes down to help out. She, I think, has it in the corner. St. Louis must have gotten a hold of it because they're advancing the other direction. Here comes St. Louis. She skates in, that gets tipped away by Parker. She still has it on her stick, though. She's still circling around. She puts a shot on. Val makes a save and gets Rim's knee to her face, but it looks like everybody's okay. Gonna bring in Cam with Claire and Mia. Mirka and Annie on defense. We have, when you play St. Louis, you get music, which is very fancy. That shot gets blocked by Annie. Annie picks it up. She's going to skate with it. She's got Claire with her. She's got Mia with her. She puts a shot on. That was blocked by a player before it made it to the net. Pops back out. Cam covering for Annie on the blue line. Tries to push it forward, and St. Louis is going to get it. Push it down into the TC zone. Mirka picks it up, goes behind her own net. Gets it up to Claire. Claire tried to get it to Cam. That's intercepted by Dallas. They get a shot on. Val grabs it, but doesn't hold it. Pushes it up to Camden. Whoa! St. Louis tries to push it down. That deflected off of Claire's skates. Claire with the forecheck while TC gets line changes. Genevieve pushed that in offsides. Took a little bit for that whistle to blow. All right, we're just starting. There's still 11:49 in the first. No score. Hattie takes the face off. Gets back to Sandy. Sandy hangs on to it, but pushes it over to a St. Louis player who takes it into neutral zone, sends it into the TC zone. It's picked up by Genevieve. Woo! She sends it into the side of the net. Hattie comes down to help. Hattie gets pushed off the puck. Oh my God. That must have squeezed through Val's pads. She thought she had it and looked behind her, and the ref signaled that it went in. I couldn't see it from here. So, 2.5 minutes in, St. Louis gets the first goal. Woo! Haley's in with Liv and Kathleen. Parker and Rim back. Kathleen takes that away from the St. Louis girl, reverses, tries to center, but nobody's there. So that pops out. Rim's going to get to it. Reverses, sends it up to Kathleen. Kathleen sends it across to Livy. Liv comes in, shoots it high and wide. Goes into the corner where you can see absolutely nothing. But I'm sure exciting things are happening. Something exciting happened because the ref's calling a penalty. I have no idea who or for what. Looks like Kathleen's coming to the box for checking. So TC is going to go on the penalty kill with 10:47 left in the first period, and they're already down 1-0. Let's go! Wake up, Wade, come on! St. Louis does a little bit of stick handling, decides to reverse, send it to the other side. St. Louis is going to start their cycling. Cam, woo! Cycle, cycle, cycle. Pass one to the other, pass one to the other. Shot on, Val's going to glove that. And we're going to get a face-off. Going to switch out our penalty killers. That killed about 35 seconds of the penalty, so we've got a little under a minute left in the penalty kill. We've got Mia, Sandy, Mirka, and Annie. St. Louis wins that face-off up to the blue line. She sends it down deep. Her teammate gets there first, sends it back up. She's going to cycle it around. Tries to center, but Mirka's on her back, so she can't get it. Going to cycle again. Puts a shot on. Val puts her glove up. That killed off another 20 seconds, so now we've got 36 seconds left in our penalty kill. Just under 10 in the first period. TC is down 1-0. St. Louis gets that face off. She's going to try to toe drag it past Annie. It gets poked away, but her teammate holds it in the zone. She backhands it to her teammate in front. That was a good play. She fumbles on it, though. Sandy gets it. Tries to push it up ice, but Mia can't hang on to it. 14 seconds left. Mia doing a good job, but St. Louis keeps it in the zone. She sends it across. She advances. Woo, Parker goes down. Everybody's down. St. Louis backhands it in front. And as always, we get called for everything, and nobody gets called for anything against us. Kathleen is out of the penalty box. Got 9:02 left in the first period. TC is down 1-0. Gonna bring on Aiden, Hattie, and Bryn. Genevieve and Rim back on defense. That goes to the far boards where St. Louis hangs on to it. They send it back behind the TC net. Gonna come to the corner. Little 3-on-3 ticky-tack right here in front of us. Genevieve gets shoved into the boards. That comes out to Aiden. Aiden skates, passes it to herself around the Blues girl, gets it in the corner, sends it behind where Bren is. Bren goes down. Aiden picks it up, turns, tries to put a shot on, and then tries to center it to Hattie, but Hattie had overskated it. St. Louis pushes it down ice. That's going to be icing. Hey, I was just talking about this song in the car earlier today. All right, now we've got Haley, Kathleen, Livy, Parker, and Mirka back on defense. St. Louis gets that face off. We're going to go into the corner where I can't see anything happening. St. Louis gets it out of the zone. Haley takes it away, sends it behind her own net. Mirka's there, but can't get a handle on it. Comes back the other way. Parker's going to get there first. Haley comes in and helps. Haley pushes it up. St. Louis gets it, doesn't get it back out. Livy picks it up. Livy puts it toward the net. It deflects off of several people in front. St. Louis clears the zone, gets past Mirka's stick. Mirka reverses, gets it to Livy. Livy fumbles it. St. Louis tries to center it, but it's taken by Parker. Parker goes the other direction. Oh, boy. Woo! Shot on, blocked in front. Ends up on Parker's stick. Parker sends it safely up the boards to avoid icing, but to get some line changes. The St. Louis girl does not do the same, and that's going to be icing. So we're going to get a face-off in the St. Louis zone with Camden, Mia, Claire, Brooklyn, and Annie. Face-off comes back to Annie. Annie tries to toe drag around one girl. Is not successful, but she hangs on it to send it down the boards. Little collision there. Puck ends up on Cam's stick. She pushes it over to Claire, who pushes it over to Annie, and Annie fumbles it away. Andy. Puck goes down low. Claire fighting behind the net. Mia comes in to help. St. Louis picks it off, but can't send it out. Brooklyn holds the line. Brooklyn sends it back down to the corner. Claire sends it to the opposite side. TC doing a good job of keeping it in the St. Louis zone. St. Louis tries to go out the other way. Brooklyn, put a shot on. Shoot the puck, girls, onto the net. Cam into the corner. Centers it to Mia. Nope, that's Sandy. Brooklyn still holding the line. Pops out to Bryn. Bryn tries to get it across, or does get it across to Cam. Cam loses it. That's going to pop out. Brooklyn picks, oh God, Brooklyn fumbles it. And Brooklyn, something happened to Brooklyn. Brooklyn went down hard and awkward, and she tried to stand up and fell right back down. I don't know if it was because her leg is hurt or what, but she did get up and get to the bench. So we've got Bryn and Sandy and Hattie on. Annie and Genevieve on defense. Nope, sorry. Rim and Genevieve on defense. GV tries to push it up ice. That's stopped by St. Louis. St. Louis holding it in. Genevieve up to Bryn. Bryn's going to skate with it. She doesn't have anybody open, so she's just going to take it herself. She gets shoved a little bit, but hangs on to it. Somebody get in front. Skates it all the way around. Sandy goes down to help. That popped past. Genevieve puts a shot toward the net. It's on Bryn's stick. She shoots. That gets tipped wide. Here comes St. Louis. They're going to dump it in and get some line changes. Genevieve, skate, girls. Genevieve's going to skate with it. She gets into the St. Louis zone and sends it in deep and then gets taken down. Here comes the puck. Whoa. That was close. Oh my God. Good job. So Haley, I know. Haley, I think originally. I guess they both got called for a body check. They both got called for a body check, I guess. I don't know. That was very confusing. But we're playing 5-on-5. Parker back in the corner. Cam goes down for help. Mirka comes in. Cam's going to pick it up. St. Louis starts to cycle. She sends it down deep. They pick it up on the far boards. TC can't seem to clear it. St. Louis with a backhand shot. Val gloves it. 3:18 left in the first period. TC is still down 1-0. Patty, Sandy, Aiden coming on. Brooklyn is back on with Annie. Patty's going to pick that off. She sends it up the boards. Ends up back on Annie's stick. We can't seem to get it out of our own zone here. We get it out of the zone, but it ends right back up with St. Louis. She somehow almost made it all the way to the net. This is starting to look like this morning, which is disappointing. Aiden picks it up. Squishes it past a couple of girls and into the St. Louis zone, but St. Louis picks it up and sends it right back out. Annie gets it at the red line. She skates it in. She gets checked, and the refs are going to call that. And all the St. Louis fans are booing, even though that's what we've gone to the box for several times. Rim holds that. Annie. They went in offsides. It was a delayed penalty call. Val came out of the net. TC did have an extra man on. But now we're going to get a power play with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left in the first period, down 1 goal. I'm assuming PP1 is out, which would be Aiden, Bryn, Cam, Brooklyn, and Annie. Hattie. Sorry, I added one. I don't know. Aiden. Hattie, Bryn, Brooklyn, Annie. Annie puts a shot on. Goalie makes a save. St. Louis picks it up, takes it behind her own net, passes it to the far boards. She's going to get that cleared out, and that's going to be icing. All right. So TC still has 1:14 left on their power play. 1:55 left in the period. Sure would be nice to get a goal here. Brooklyn sends it down to Hattie, to Bryn. Back to Brooklyn, down. Hattie tries to tip it in. Hattie to Brooklyn. Brooklyn puts a shot on. Rebound pops out. Hattie's there, but the St. Louis goalie makes a couple of good saves there. So that's probably the best scoring chance we've had all game. 13 minutes in. They're going to keep these girls on. Aiden didn't really win the faceoff. St. Louis is going to send it down. And again, because this is the dumbest rule ever, just a big fat waste of time. I will never not complain about it. It's such a waste of time. Hattie gets that face off, but Aiden couldn't get it on her stick, which seems to be happening to everybody all day today. They just can't get anything to stay on their stick. Annie passes it across to Brooklyn, back to Annie. Annie, again, can't get it to stay on her stick, so she has to cycle around to Brooklyn. Brooklyn tries to send it to Hattie, and that's icing. All right, Haley with Livy and Kathleen, Rim and Parker. Parker gets it, passes it up, deflects off a St. Louis girl and stays in the zone. Does get sent into the St. Louis zone. We're still on a power play. That deflects into the St. Louis bench. Clock stopped about 10 seconds after the whistle blew. I know. So there's 45 seconds left in the first period. TC still down 1-0. St. Louis is now at full strength. TC down there fighting behind the net is Kathleen. She sends it wide, but nobody's over there. St. Louis picks it up and goes back. She's going to go behind her own net, reverse. Sends it up and out. Olivia pops it back in onto a St. Louis stick, and she sends it this way. So St. Louis can get a change. Rim picks it up, reverses it. Rimini to Kathleen. 7 seconds left. The girls either don't know there's 7 seconds left, or Cam does get a shot off, and that's blocked in front by St. Louis. So after the first period, TC is down 1-0. I'd like to say they're showing signs of life. That might be overzealous. They can't even get their penalty box open, so this is good. All right. Back for the second period. The refs made a couple of parents go sit in the boxes. He doesn't like the girls letting themselves out of the box. Here comes Annie. Annie puts a shot on that deflects off the goalie's blocker and up into the net. Good job, Annie! Got Cam, Mia, Claire, Mirka, and Annie. St. Louis gets that face off. Sends it to the far boards. Claire lost her stick, but got it right back. St. Louis digs that out, sends it up. St. Louis advances. Mirka poked that into the corner. But St. Louis holds it in. She's going to take it behind her own net. She still has it. That gets poked away. Here we go. TC just can't. Every time we touch the puck, we can't keep it on our stick. Annie reverses. Pushes it up to Claire. Claire to Mia. I mean, this is just how the day has been going. Oh, it's almost like a comedy sketch at this point. Oh, yeah. Mia somehow ends up with it. Puts a shot on. That was a great shot. Good job, Mia. Goalie kicks it wide. St. Louis clears it out. Here comes Genevieve. GV puts a shot on. Wide of the net. She's doing a great job forechecking, waiting for the girls to change. That's going to come up and out to the neutral zone. Brooklyn sends it back in. Aiden punches it into the St. Louis zone. And now St. Louis comes up the near side. They finally get it into the TC zone. Brooklyn reverses to a player that I can't tell because she's in the corner of doom. It was Hattie. Through the neutral zone, that popped out to Brooklyn. Brooklyn off the boards. Aiden picks it up. Spins, gets it to Hattie. Hattie puts it toward the net. That's blocked and sent to the far boards. And here comes St. Louis with a little bit of speed. I don't know how that girl's mouth guard stays in her helmet. It's just sitting. It's not in her mouth. It's just sitting in the cage of her helmet. All right. So now we've got Haley, Livy, Kathleen. St. Louis gets that face off, but Parker stops it from leaving the zone. Kathleen behind the net. Pops in behind, like into the back of the net. Oh, there, they deflected it off. Haley's going to get there. Parker comes down to help. Parker and Haley fighting here. Haley gets shouldered off. Comes out to center, past Kathleen, but Rim picks it up. Skated in a little too deep, so that squeezed out the blue line. Parker's going to come over, help, pick it up. She sends it up the near boards where Liv's waiting. Livy sends it up. She's got it again. She carries it in. Pushes it across. Haley and Kathleen are over there right at the blue line trying to hold it in. That popped out to Liv. Liv puts a shot on. St. Louis with a save. Good job, White. Keep shooting. So now we're going to bring back Cam and Claire and Mia with Annie and Brooklyn. Annie holds that in. Annie reverses. Gets it up to Brooklyn. Brooklyn back to Annie. Annie across to Cam. Shoot the puck. Cam puts a shot on. Nice save by the goalie. The rebound came out, but St. Louis got there first. Pops up. Brooklyn Sends it back down to Cam. Cam gets checked to the boards. Good job, Cam! So TC's going to get a power play. 10-14 left in the second period. They are down a goal. Have another body checking penalty. I think that's what all the penalties have been this game. Hattie gets that to Aiden. Aiden shimmies around the circles, passes it back to Bryn, who squeezed it back to Brooklyn and got past her and out of the zone. Hattie at the red line. Can't get it back in. Here comes Annie. Annie makes a move around one, makes a move around another. Sweet. Yeah! What a play. What a play. Annie with a great move. Hattie came in on the right side, wide open. Annie gets it to her. That's a goal for Hattie Hyatt. Chip and dive. That is how this team knows how to play hockey. I don't know why they can't do it all the time. If they did it all the time, they would be 3-0 in this tournament. All right, Camden, Mia, Claire. That was a power play goal, by the way. 9:45 left in the second. We've got a tie game. Brooklyn picks it up. Does a little jig in her own zone, and now she carries it all the way up the boards. Almost put herself in offsides, but she held it. Pops back out. Brooklyn sends it over to Genevieve, who fumbles it. St. Louis gets it, puts a shot on. That gets cleared out. St. Louis tried to look across. That was blocked by Claire. Oh, Cam, I think, wanted to bash her stick up against the boards right there, but thought better of it. Since her dad is right here. All right, Haley, Livy, Kathleen, Mirka, Annie. Comes out through the neutral zone. St. Louis puts a shot on. Val's going to glove that. We've got exactly 9 minutes left in the second period. Tie game. Oh, this DJ's going way back. All right. St. Louis reversed that. I don't know who was offsides there, but he called it offsides. So I didn't see another St. Louis player in the zone, but that doesn't mean anything. All the Gen X and millennial parents here are jamming to the 90s hits. Puck comes across. Annie turns on the afterburners to chase it down. That goes across to Sandy. Sandy back to Mirka. Mirka fumbles it a little bit, but Hattie comes in to help. Hattie spins. She's attacked by a couple St. Louis players. Aiden tries to send it across. Sandoval sends it in deep. That was a bit of a late call. I don't know that these refs fully understand the offsides rule, which is worrisome. Watch me whip. Watch me nay-nay. That puck comes out. Bryn. Oh, Lord, girls. Well, Mia's going to go to the box and hang out with her mom for a minute 30 for a tripping call. That always drives me nuts because the ref didn't call anything and the St. Louis coaches all yelled and put their hands in the air, so the ref put his hands in the air. That makes me nuts. So St. Louis is on the power play. Mia's going to sit next to her mom and think about it. St. Louis cycling the puck. For some reason, she had a teammate wide open right in front of her and sent it behind. Oh, Camden! Oy vey. Well, TC is about to go on a 5-on-3 penalty. Let him, don't take it from him. Let him play with it. Let him play with it. Stay away from it. Let him play with it. So TC is going to be down 2 men for 57 seconds. Camden was jealous and also wanted to hang out with Catherine Kochman. So she's going to sit in the box with her as well. And we're going to have Hattie, Brooklyn, and Annie out for the 5-on-3 for 57 seconds. St. Louis is going to cycle it. I know this is like a terrible camera view with all of the creases in the glass. St. Louis sends it to the far boards. She skates it in a little bit, sends it to the near side. Shot on. Val's going to glove that. Takes us down to 36 seconds of 5-on-3 time. St. Louis is going to bring some new legs on the ice. Hattie's going to get there first. Hattie's going to skate it. Hattie sends it in. She's going to be the first one to it. Hattie's going to kill some time. She's just going to kind of fumble around down there. St. Louis gets it. There's 19 seconds left on Mia's penalty. St. Louis coming in the other way. She takes it wide. She's going to take it around her own net. She doesn't really have anyone to center it to. 8 seconds left on Mia's penalty. Ooh, that deflected weird. Oh, no. Val's down. They poke that out. Shot on. That's blocked by Hattie. Here comes Mia. Mia's out of the box. We've got 5-on-4 for another 30 seconds. Mia, good job, Mia. Mia comes out with a great back check. The girl had no idea she was coming out of the box. She gets it to Hattie, but Hattie's legs are probably exhausted. We got a 3-on-1. Come on! That's a short-handed goal, ladies and gentlemen. Hattie, with what little legs she had left, managed to get the puck up, and Mia, almost completely outstretched with her stick, tipped that puck into the net. Holy cow, that was great. Once again, you guys are seeing what this team can do when they move their feet and play the game. 2 sweet goals. Mia out of the box. All right, we still have 10 seconds of a penalty kill. Haley's taking the face-off. She's got Kathleen and Livy. Genevieve's back on D. Cam is 7 seconds away from coming out of the box. Rim picks that up. Oh, sorry, Kathleen's not on there. Rimini's on there. Excuse me. Cam comes out, flies across. Now Kathleen's on the ice. Rim gets that up to Haley. Haley pushes it back to Rim. St. Louis comes in, tries to take that away, and she does. She skates. Oh, I don't even know how that went in. I'm not positive how that went in. She just skated right toward the net. Nobody stopped her, and she must have gotten must have gone in over her right shoulder or something. That was really weird. And again, we're at a terrible angle to see anything happening. So we're back at a tie game here. Cam, Mia, Claire, Mirka, and Genevieve. St. Louis, they're really elbowy, I feel like. Maybe that's just me. Comes Parker. Oh no, that somehow ended up right in front of the net. Val, I think, got a pad on that. There's 5:20 left in the second period. It's a tie game, 2-2. Yikes. Shot on. Val gloves that one. She's going to hang on to it. Patty, Aiden, Sandy, Annie, Brooklyn. Patty pushed that face-off back, and it got deflected. I don't know. I can't see what's happening in this corner. Brooklyn has it now, reverses it to whoever's over there. Just a bunch of wavy figures. Annie up to Aiden. Aiden can't hang on to it. Or we'll say that Aiden strategically handed it off to Hattie, but that's false news. Hattie behind the net, still fighting for it. Aiden's going to go over and help. Aiden pushes it to Brooklyn. Brooklyn puts it toward the net, and it's blocked. Hattie stays with it. Whoa, St. Louis. Oh, gosh. That was lucky that girl got her stick on it. Or that would have been point blank for Hattie. That's going to be icing. 4:17 left in the second. Tie game, 2-2. TC with two gorgeous goals. St. Louis with two kind of fluky. The second one was for sure fluky. We're going to have to go back to the video on that one. Haley, Kathleen, Bryn. Haley pushes it behind the net, around to the far side. Kathleen, oh gosh. Haley does a good job. That pops out to Rim. Rim tries to put a shot on. It's blocked. Genevieve pushes it down into the far corner. St. Louis sends it around the boards. And then they go back the other way around the board. She fumbled on it. Kathleen gets there first. Pops out to Bryn. Bryn and Haley fighting behind the net. That popped out front, but there were no white jerseys there, so that gets picked up by St. Louis, and they're going to go the other way. Rim. I think that's Haley down there fighting too. It pops out to Kathleen. I feel like the girls are so quick to get rid of it. Kathleen had a good runway to skate there for a little bit. I like that they want to move the puck, but sometimes they got to be a little selfish. Bringing back in Cam and Mia and Claire. Parker and Mirka. 3 minutes left. The second tie game, 2-2. St. Louis sends it down deep into the TC zone. Parker's going to get there first. Send it up to Cam. Cam pushes it up past Claire. Puck is like, stuck on the side of the net. All right. Here we have our favorite corner where you can't actually see anything happening. St. Louis came out with it. She tried to put it over Val's left shoulder. Val was ready for that one. Here comes Claire. Claire gets it up to Camden. Cam takes it into the zone. She's still got it in the corner. Pops out. Oh, the net's off. Pretty sure the net's way off. The net is not on. Annie. Annie does a good job. Jeez. Val reaches out and grabs it. I don't think this net is on its moorings. It's not. Okay, Aiden, Hattie, Sandy, Annie. Oh, Brooklyn. Just under 2 minutes left in the second period. It's 2-2 game. Brooklyn sends it across to Annie. Annie has Aiden in the corner. I think Aiden pushed it up to Hattie. Hattie pushed it up to Sandy. Sandy gets taken down, but it ends up on Hattie's stick. Hattie's got Aiden with her. Hattie gets taken down, but at least they consistently, Aiden did not get any of that. What are you blowing the whistle for? Yeah. Put a little mustard on that, Muldrow. I have to give my kid a hard time. That was a good play, though. They just, like it's been happening all day, they just can't seem to get a solid. She needs to put some sticky wax on her stick. They all do. Sticky wax. St. Louis passing it a little too much in their own zone. TC doing a good job taking advantage of that. Brooklyn holds it in. That comes down to Liv. Brooklyn still holds it in. Come on, she is targeting her. That girl literally just elbowed her in the back, nowhere close to the puck. And now we're getting called for a penalty. Be really great if you watch number 5 elbowing everybody behind the puck. Somehow out of all of that, Haley is in the box. So with 40 seconds left in the second period, St. Louis is on a power play. Last year at this same tournament, TC played St. Louis. And the penalty situation was very similar. Yeah.
It takes like 5 seconds off every time. Just do it 12 times.
Yeah.
All good. And they can do late game.
There's a rule. There's shitty rule that we can't do it.
All right, St. Louis at the blue line. She puts a shot toward the net that deflects off a few things in front. Picks it up in the corner. There's 11 seconds left in the period. St. Louis still in control. She reverses. She reverses again. She obviously doesn't know how much time is left. She puts a shot toward the net, hits the side of the net, and that's going to be the end of the period. So TC will still have 47 seconds left of a penalty kill going into the third of a tie game, 2-2. All right. Here we go, starting the third. Whoa. Mia just ripped it into the St. Louis bench. She did go ahead and apologize or make sure they were okay. Whoops. All right, we're going to try that again. Bryn, Mia, Parker, and Mirka are on the penalty kill for about 40 more seconds. Mirka pushes it up. Woo, past Mia. Mirka's still fighting. That gets stuck in St. Louis's skates. Mia comes up. Mia, can't get it past the girl. Super close. Parker's going to come down. Parker's going to go around the net. Shoot it up ice, Up ice, Parker. Parker's going to skate it. Gets it into the neutral zone. Sends it across to Mia. Mia loses it. Back to Parker. Parker can't keep a handle on it either. Mirka pokes it away. Bryn's there. Haley's out of the penalty box. We're back at full strength. Haley comes down. She gets it up the board. She's got Bryn with her. That had to have been out where that girl's standing. Okay. Either way, Mia. Oh.
2 more steps.
I don't know if they can't see the line or they get excited or what. But I feel like they do. They always are like 1 or 2 steps short. So that's going to be icing. St. Louis wins that faceoff pretty decisively. Annie, I don't know what Annie did. She left it for herself, kind of pirouetted back around. St. Louis somehow comes up with it. Jeez. That pops out. Here comes Livy. Livy takes it wide. Fumbles it. St. Louis girl picks it up. She sends it down deep. She's got nobody with her. Oh, she did have somebody with her. I don't know where that girl came from. That was a nice centering pass, though. Another centering pass. That one ends up with Kathleen. Kathleen sends it in. TC's got to make a pretty quick line change here. That comes across. Annie ends up with it. Annie sends it up the boards, but nobody's there because my kid is out for a Sunday stroll on a Saturday. Rim behind the net. Hattie right here fighting in the corner, up the boards. St. Louis is holding it in. Girls can't get it past her. She makes a move, goes around Aiden. Somehow Aiden ends up with it, sends it up to Annie. Here comes Annie. She's got Sandy right behind her. Annie puts a shot on, that deflects wide. Past Sandy's stick, and St. Louis is going to come back the other way. Shot on wide. We're just like watching the same girl skate circles around us. Woo! Annie with a good poke check away. Claire pushes that out. St. Louis is going to pick it up at their own blue line. Send it wide, and that ends up on somebody's stick, Mia's. Mia back to Cam. Mia puts a shot, a weird angle shot on, and the goalie did struggle with it a little bit, but kicks it out. Here comes St. Louis the other way. St. Louis puts a shot on that gets tipped and goes way wide. Oh my God!
Come on, you fucking homers. Call it both ways. Jesus.
Our girls can fall down too.
Maybe they should start.
So TC's on yet another penalty kill. Claire gets it, sends it out of the zone. She chases. That comes in, and it looks like he's going to have a center ice face-off for an intentional offsides. Cam, Annie, Claire, Brooklyn. Cam kind of left that on the doorstep, and St. Louis picked it up, and she sent that high. St. Louis's 16s must be here in the stands down at the other end because it just got real rowdy. Minute 12 left in Genevieve's penalty. Claire gets that off the face-off but can't get a handle on it. Goes behind the net. St. Louis cycles. Annie clears that out in front. Claire can't get it out of the zone. Annie's going to pick it up in the corner. Annie doing a good job fending off two St. Louis girls. Brooklyn is going to pick it up behind the net. She fumbles it, reverses, sends it wide. St. Louis grabs it. Brooklyn gets taken out, and we're going to have a 4-on-4 for 32 seconds.
Only stayed 5 minutes.
Okay. We've got 32 seconds of a 4-on-4, and then TC will get about a 1-minute power play. Aiden kind of won that face-off, but can't keep a hold of it. Hattie passes it to herself. Aiden gets it, puts a shot on. I don't know if the goalie tipped that a little bit or what, but it went wide. Puck behind the net. Sends it out. Parker, ooh. I don't know what that jumped off of. I don't even think it got to Parker. It looked like it skipped off of something on the boards. Oh boy, that was maybe not the smartest play. That gets pushed onto the net. Val pushes it wide. Here comes Rim. Rim pushes it up to Hattie. Goes past Hattie to Bryn. TC's now on a power play. Bryn back to Hattie. Hattie with the shot on. The goalie makes a nice save. Out to Rim. Rim puts a shot on. That's blocked in front. St. Louis gets a hold of it. They send it. That's going to be icing. Rim takes her time. All right, 8:15 left in the third period. It's tied 2-2. TC still has 25 seconds left of a power play. Annie sends it. That comes out to Brooklyn. Brooklyn down to Bryn. Bryn puts a shot on. Rebound is out, and St. Louis clears it. That's not even going to make it to the goal line. Brooklyn picks it up to Bryn. Bryn's going to turn and skate it. Sends it across to Aiden. Aiden sends it across to Hattie. Hattie, yes! Aiden to Hattie. Hattie with the goal. Hattie's having a 3-point game. She's doing great. Where did Katie go? Katie was just standing in front of us. Oh, there she is. Oh, Katie.
Nice.
Oh, nice. All right. Rim's going to pick that up in the corner. Pass it back to Mirka. Kathleen's right here. That, I think, was that power play? I think that was another power play goal to put TC up 3-2. Kathleen with a nice pass across to Livy. Liv pushes it in. St. Louis tried to push it out, and that deflected weird and did not go out. Look. Katie keeps going down to that end because she also can't see anything happening in this corner. We could have taken the camera back and forth. All right, things are happening in the corner. Super excited. Terry's going to go down there too and watch it. Livy pushes it back to Mirka. Mirka puts it toward the net, goes around wide. Kathleen tries to send it back toward the net. St. Louis gets it. Comes out to Camden. Camden across to Kathleen. St. Louis was on a change there, but Kathleen's toward the end of her shift, so she didn't have her usual legs on her. Here comes Annie. Annie? Oh, Annie with a great pass over to Mia. Mia with a great shot, and the goalie makes a good save there. Oh. Genevieve loses her footing there. Woo! Annie gets it up to Claire. Claire tries to send it across to Cam, and that was blocked by St. Louis. There's 5:27 left in the third period. TC's up 3-2. GB up the boards, past Mia to the St. Louis player waiting at the red line. Woo! Annie up to Camden. Past her stick. Mia up to Camden. Cam gets across the red line. I think she wants to send it in deep, but can't seem to do it. Parker gets it across to Annie. Here comes Annie. Annie puts a shot toward the net. It's blocked by a St. Louis player. St. Louis has it behind their own net. She comes out with it. She advances. Hattie tries to poke it away, but she still somehow has it. St. Louis, that was way offsides. Again, I'm pretty sure the refs don't quite understand the offside rule. Offsides is an optional thing. It may or may not exist. All right. Hattie, Sandy, Bryn, Parker, Brooklyn. St. Louis gets that face off. That pops out. Here we go. Skate, girls. Here's a 2-on-1. Sandy and Bryn. That was a good back check by St. Louis. Little tossle in the corner, and here comes St. Louis. Brooklyn with a good poke check. Parker picks it up behind the net, pushes it up. St. Louis puts it backhanded toward Val, and Val's going to hold that.
That was weird. I know, it's like a weird opposite.
We've got Haley, Kathleen, Liv, Mirka, Annie. Livy fighting on the far. Good job, Livy! Livy, gets it to Kathleen. Kathleen fumbles. Can't get it out. Comes across. Mirka and Kathleen right here. Haley's there helping. St. Louis gets it out. That goes behind the net. Annie's going to be the first one there. She's going to bring it around. She can't get it out either. Somebody push it out of the zone. Thank you, Kathleen. Kathleen sends it down, and that gets touched by St. Louis. So we're going to be able to get a couple new bodies. There's 3 minutes left in the third period. TC's up 3-2. Oh, that ends up. Oh, Livy, bouncing. Here comes St. Louis the other way. Kathleen with a great back check there, and she ends up with it, sends it across to Annie. Annie to Cam. Camden backhands it. Bit wide of the net, but it was a good idea. St. Louis behind their own net. This girl turns on the wheels. She has nobody with her, however. Shoots it. Gets her own rebound. She's still wheeling and dealing. Her teammate just came behind the net screaming at the literal top of her lungs. She's not going to be able to talk tomorrow. This girl puts a shot on that's blocked by Annie and goes wide. Let's go. Claire sends it over to Mia. Mia skating it. Mia gets past the red line, sends it deep. Brooklyn can't quite get it any too far into the zone. Brooklyn with a good poke check there. Aiden gets it out of the zone. The goalie has been pulled. The net is empty. We totally had too many men on the ice. Oh! That was Rimini, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we had too many players on the ice there, but as the refs have called literally everything on us, I'm not going to feel too bad about that. So Rim with an empty net goal with 1:17 left in the game. TC's up 4-2. Bryn, Sandy, Mia, Brooklyn, and Genevieve. That puck's going to come down. He's calling off the icing. Brooklyn gets there. Brooklyn's going to just kind of hold it up against the boards like you do in the last minute of a game. Sandy and Bryn right here. Brooklyn takes it to the opposite side. Woo! Mia from her bottom kicking. St. Louis still can't quite get control of it. Bryn doing a good job there. Sandy coming in to help. St. Louis puts a shot on. I think Val got her toe on that. Woo! 9 seconds left. Puck comes out of the zone, and that's going to do it. After a bit of an up and down game, the girls were on and off and on and off. They finished with more points on the scoreboard, and that's all that matters. So we're going to go to bed and be back here in, 10 hours? So it's going to be great. We'll see you guys in the morning, 7:40 Central Time.